All right, everybody, this is a small instructional on the form Chon Ji Hyung, and what I'm going to be doing is explaining the movements as I do them. The most important thing to keep in mind is that Chon Ji Hyung and every single form in Taekwondo always has to be done in a pattern. The pattern that we use for Chon Ji Hyung is going to be a cross pattern, like we're making a T. All right, so now, my goal is, from my starting position, my first move is always going to be to my left side. I'm not stepping forward. My first movement, I always look to the left side, I wind up, I throw my low block in the front stance to the left side with my left hand. I step forward, I throw a punch with my right hand. Now I take my right hand and my right foot all the way to the other side, low block. And I aim, I step, and I punch with the left. And then look back to the front side. Low block with the left, step, punch with the right, then I go to the back, wind up, low block with the right, step, punch with the left. That's the halfway mark. Now I'm going to switch my stance to a back stance side block. I wind up to the left side. Side block in a back stance, notice both my legs are bent. I aim, I step, front stance punch with the right hand. Now I go all the way to my right side. I wind up, I go towards the back, right hand is going to throw the side block. I'm going to aim, step, left hand is going to throw the punch. Now I go towards the back of the room. So I look, left side, back stance side block. I aim, punch with the right, and now I go all the way back up to the front. So I wind up, whatever leg is in the front always moves. All the way, back stance side block. I aim, step, front stance punch, then I step one more time, front stance punch. Now I'm going to step back, punch, and step back one more time, and punch. At the end of it, when I come back, I should be right where I started. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the next thing I want to do with everybody is explain a little bit more in detail the difference between your back stance and the difference between your front stance, right? Now, you guys are all used to stepping forward and throwing front stance out front blocks. Fingers are facing out. A side block is different. A side block, your fingers finish facing in towards you. So the windup is completely different. What I want everybody to work on is, from your ready position here, you're going to put your blocking hand underneath. Your other hand is going to go on top. You're going to look to the side. You're going to step into that back stance, making sure that both legs are nice and bent. And then as you throw your block nice and slow, you're going to make sure that you rotate your hand like you're going to say hello to yourself. You're not actually going to say hello to yourself, but your hands are going to be facing you like that. From that position, you can step into the next movement by aiming, bringing your legs together almost all the way, and then stepping into a front stance and throwing your punch. If you want to work on just a side block alone, what I recommend doing is, from your ready position here, you look to one side, you wind up, you throw your block. Make sure, again, if you open your hand, your palm should be facing you. I come back, I look to my left side, I wind up, I throw my block. If I open my hand, my palm should be facing me. Always remember that back stance is both legs bent. You don't want to make it like a horse stance where your feet are facing the same direction. You want to make sure whatever direction you're facing, your toes are also turning in that direction on your lead leg. This way, when you step forward, your feet are already pointing to the direction that you would have to step forward in. Big difference between your back stance and your front stance is that on your back stance, both your legs are bent, your body's sideways. If you look at me from the front, my front stance is here. My hips are facing you, my chest is facing you. If I do a back stance, my hips are facing the side, my chest is facing the side, but my head is always focusing on the direction. One way you can guarantee that you're going to do it the right way is you put your hands out like this. And as you step into your back stance, both your hands should be facing straight front, straight back. If I step into a front stance, both my arms are always going to be straight off to the side. It's a little reminder so that as you do the form, you can make sure that you're doing the techniques properly. Next small drill here, guys, is a shift from your front stance to your back stance so that everybody understands how your legs have to change when you're in a position. So let's just say I'm stepping forward with my left leg and I'm in a front stance. My head is up, my back is straight, my arms are to the side like this, like we mentioned in the last little drill video. Now what I want to do is I want to bring my front leg in to make my stance more narrow. And as I do that, my hands shift and I sink right down into the back stance. From there, I'm going to open right back up to the front stance. So my front leg is going to move open. I'm going to be back to front stance. Now my front leg is going to move back in. I'm going to sink down a little bit back into the back stance. So I can move from front stance, back stance, front stance, back stance. Now obviously the more you sink down into the stance, the better it's going to be for your legs, the better it's going to be for your position. But you don't want to sink down too much. So you say, what is too much? Well, if I'm in a back stance and you're looking at me from the side position here, what I don't need is for my hips to be lower than my knees. That's not necessary. I need to be just a little bit above where my knees are so that my position is strong and stable, which is most important when you're doing any type of stance work. So once again, if I have my leg in the front in a front stance, my head is up, my back is straight, my arms are out to the side, what I'm going to do is bring my front leg in to make my space more narrow, and I sink down into the position, then I open my front leg back into the front stance. Back stance, front stance.